Good morning, yogis. Welcome to class. This week, we are just about into the new moon, and during the new moon, you might feel a little bit depleted. So you might feel run down, have a little bit less energy, or just feel a little off. Perhaps you have cramps, you know your period's coming, you're feeling a little bit sluggish, maybe some bloating and heaviness. It's just a really dark and very low period of, no pun intended, of our month. For a lot of us, we might be very sensitive to that. So today's practice is a yin practice designed with a little bit of flow, designed to really energize and kind of nourish that yin phase without a lot of energy expenditure. So if you have a blanket, so I just use just a regular old standard yoga blanket. If you have one of those, it might be helpful. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. It's not necessary. You could use a towel or even, like a fleece throw blanket or whatever you have at home. So we're going to begin on our backs. So let's go ahead and find that shape. So just come on down onto your back, somewhere around the middle of your mat. Pull your knees in, and we're going to take a variation on Happy Baby. So bringing your feet together, as close together as you can, and just grabbing onto either the shins or the ankles, whatever you can easily grab onto. And just taking a few moments here. So letting the weight of the hands pull the heels towards your body and let the knees just fall open wherever they want to, and start to work into your breath. Creating much longer exhales than inhales here. These yin postures can be held for up to 10 minutes or longer if that suits you. We're not going to hold them quite that long or even close to that long. Just about 2 minutes for each shape. And I don't want you to fight against muscular, right? So I don't want you to fight against trying to hold a certain position. Just let the body naturally find its shape. And try not to fight against the stillness. Allow yourself to find this shape. And then commit to being still here. So from here, we're going to release the feet to the mat. Just bring them down. Hands can come to your side, and taking a few windshield wipers to the right and the left. Maybe the knees come all the way to the floor, maybe not, whatever feels good. And then go ahead and reach that right knee into your heart space. Give it a nice little tug here. So you might feel it in the back of that right leg somewhat, and extend that left leg long. Let the foot just be heavy here. You can take some gentle movement in the ankles. And then once again, settle into that stillness. Let your shoulders be heavy. Creating those nice, long, deep breaths. Taking that right knee in the left hand, gently pull that leg across your body and just take a nice gentle twist. So you can keep, I like to hook my foot just behind my knee and let that knee just hang there. Right arm reaches out to the side, maybe taking it into a half cactus. Of course, that's not for everybody, so if that doesn't feel good, don't do that. Now, if you feel things coming up as you're in these shapes, maybe you want to hold a shape longer, or you have some emotions working their way in, it's okay. Just try to find that stillness there. Ride it out. You can always press pause, come back to it again. Let's go ahead and unravel this twist. Come back onto your back, pull both knees in, take a little side to side, and then set that right foot down, pull that left knee in. So this might be enough. If you have some tenderness or some joint stiffness, this is going to be enough. If you're a little bit more flexible, in order to get a nice sensation, you might have to extend that leg longer. Just take the ankles in a little circle and flex. Maybe finding a pattern with your breath. And then finding that stillness. For me, during the time of the full moon, I feel a general heaviness around my midsection, right? So maybe some cramping, bloating, some tenderness in the low belly. Let's take this over into that gentle twist. So again, maybe hooking the toes behind the knee, maybe slightly bending that bottom knee, reaching that left arm out long. Go ahead and unravel. Pull both knees in, find a few wiggles here. We're going to head to our hands and knees. So if you want to roll forward, cross the ankles, flip over the legs, you can do that. Or since we're moving a little bit more gently today, I'm just going to go ahead and roll over to the side and find my way to that tabletop. So hands are directly underneath your shoulders, knees are right underneath your hips. We're going to create a little bit of movement in the lower belly area. So taking these cat-cows, but really exaggerating the movement. Starting with your tailbone, I want you to tuck it down. So just the tailbone moves down. You can even tuck your toes under to get a little bit more. I want you to really feel like that belly button is pressing up and in, and then pushing into each vertebrae one at a time until you have this nice round upper back and hollow out belly. And then from here, you're just going to start at the tailbone again, and like you're ticking each vertebrae, you're going to start to tilt up with the tailbone, drop down with the belly, all the way up the spine until you're looking through with the heart. You're looking through the gateway. So I want you to feel this feeling in your lower belly today instead of, usually we focus on the back, right? So I want you to feel this in your lower belly. Pressing, rounding, squeezing, and then lift. Be heavy here. Drop down. So you can even draw the pelvic floor into this. If you know how to engage that, it's kind of like when you're squeezing off your pee in the middle of a stream. Okay. So starting to engage through there as you're finding this little rolling movement. We'll just take about 2 more here. Last one. And then just come back to your nice neutral spine here. We're going to make sure that left knee is underneath you so you have the balance. Press that right leg out behind you. Exhale completely. Inhale, find length, and then draw that knee to the outside of the right arm and step outside of that hand and find your way into a nice low lizard lunge. You can walk your fingers, your hands forward, and just rock a little bit here. We're going to flow a little bit. So same thing that we did before. We're going to tuck the tailbone, hollow out that low belly, push into the heel of that right foot, and then round as we come back, sitting the hip over the left knee. My right leg is not completely straight, keeping that right foot on the floor. And then lift the tailbone, drop the belly, lift the heart as you rock back forward. And then taking this back and forward. Nice. Walk the hands underneath the shoulders. You're going to either slide or lift that right foot, set it back down, and then just press back into a child's pose to reset and come on back forward. Here we go. Push that left leg back, square off the hips. Nice. Inhale long, and on the exhale, draw that left knee towards the shoulder, place that left foot outside of the hand, and then sink into that low lunge. So you can walk your hands forward, sit nice and low, maybe add a little rock here. We're going to begin that movement, creating that tuck, hollow, walk the hands back, rounding through the back, keeping that left foot on the floor. You're really aiming for this hollow right here in the low belly, below the belly button. And then inhale, lift the tailbone and crawl forward. Rock back, walk back, crawl forward, rock back, and forward. And then the last time. Nice. Now, instead of stepping back, we're going to step forward. So keep that left foot right where it is. Curl the toes under on that right foot. You can weight into the hands here and either slide or step into a nice wide forward fold. So I want your toes slightly out. Your knees are going to track over those toes. Bend the knees heavy and drop the head. Inhale, find a half lift. Zip up through the belly, root down through the heels. On your exhale, sit down into your goddess. Should feel a little familiar. Try to weight back into the heels. Hands can be on the mat, so if you feel like you're gonna fall over, you can grab onto your mat. I like to put my arms inside my knees, try to lift up through the heart, hands to heart center or right below my face. Rock forward, hands come to the mat, roll onto your toes and lift the hips up. Find a nice forward fold. Turn your toes out, heels in, sit down. I'm just going to do 2 more just like that. Roll forward, find that forward fold. You can grip on behind the calf, keeping a bend in the knees. Inhale, find your way to that low yogi squat. Nice, this is our last time for our fold. And now our last time for that squat. And you can always sit on a block there if that's better for you. Now I'm going to use my hands so that I don't crash onto the mat. We're going to just sit down onto the mat. Find your way into our seated butterfly or Baddha Konasana. So a little bit different for this Baddha Konasana. We're going to take our blanket, if we have it, and just roll it into a ball, and then kind of fold it into a bigger ball. And then we're just going to place it in between the legs here. So if this doesn't give you quite we're just looking for a little bit of pressure. If this doesn't give you the pressure that you need, because maybe folding forward isn't for you or whatever, you could use a bolster. I don't have mine handy. You could use a bolster or a pillow or just something that's going to give you a little bit of pressure here in the lower abdomen, and then roll forward. We don't need a lot of pressure, just a tiny bit. Sometimes it feels good, and know your body. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. So you can stay here. For most people, this is enough. Or you can start to walk your forearms underneath your shins and then melting down closer. This is a really deep stretch. You only need this if you don't feel the stretch in regular butterfly. There's nothing to be gained by taking this stretch if you're not ready for it. We have about 30 more seconds here. So find your deepest version of this fold. Maybe backing out a little bit, lowering back in. You'll know it when you hit your sweet spot. And now go ahead and push your way back up. Bring your blanket with you. And we're going back down onto our back for our Shavasana. So you can take that same butterfly with the legs if that feels good to you. Or you can extend your legs out long or even leave them bent with the knees pressing in. And then we're just going to take the blanket across your lower belly for just some weight, just the smallest amount of weight there. And take whatever version of the legs feels the most nourishing. Letting your hands be down by your side, or if you just want to place them on top of your low belly. And take a moment to let the practice steep here. Just let it be. Feel how you're starting to be energized, starting to have a little bit more energy. And honoring that as you move through the day and through the rest of the week, through the rest of the cycle of the new moon. And being conscious of not taking too much energy where you don't need it. Now this is where I leave you, yogi. Stay in your Shavasana as long as it serves you today. Thank you for practicing with me, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.